Hello, welcome to the Richly or Poorly Show. My name is Dr. Stephen Dawson, and I'm your show host. Thank you for joining me. Please visit shdawson.com/podcast and click on the link Offer to learn about the Richly or Poorly Show. Here you can familiarize yourself with the show. Please listen to, follow, and like the show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and wherever you listen. And please remember to leave the show a nice review. Please share the show with your friends. Send them the link to my podcast webpage and offer to help them set up their device to subscribe to the show. Thank you to the 6 streaming services that syndicate the Richly or Poorly Show. Finally, please continue to email your questions and comments about the show to service@shdawson.com. The show's motto is unmistakable. Richly is goodly. Please consider how you define the term good as we journey through life together in your pursuit of defining the term richly in your life. Today, we will begin our study of 2 terms that are used today more as rags to wipe up messes than as parts of meaningful communication to prevent messes from occurring in the first place. We will then move to walk through the terms worldview, ethics, morality, and virtue that were presented last week. Finally, we will walk the terms presented today through the first principle of living life more richly to connect many of the pieces presented so far in the show. All definitions presented on the show are resident in the public domain as public knowledge, so there's nothing proprietary contained within these definitions. I urge you to review the definitions presented in the previous episodes as you consider the 2 terms I present to you now. The term justice is a plural term. It is a noun. A noun states an attribute of a person, place, thing, or idea. Justice is defined as the quality of being just, righteousness, equitableness, or moral righteousness. Injustice is the opposite of justice. The term renege is a singular term. Renege is spelled R-E-N-E-G-E. It is a verb. A verb is the expression of action, a state, or relationship between 2 things. Renege is defined as to go back on one's word, with word being a promise. There is no justice when justice cannot be fulfilled. There is a condition of hope at best and fantasy at worst. We know it is important, critical, crucial to understand your data life cycle. How does data deliver justice? Let's look at our 4 terms by considering the term justice. Worldview. Justice only exists in a worldview. Today, it is correct to do this. Tomorrow, it is incorrect to do this. It is just today and unjust tomorrow. Ethics. The power to enforce justice through our ethics only matters when we have the power necessary to deliver justice. The entire premise of delivering justice means that injustice occurred. The protective nature of justice only functions when people believe they must pay a price for being unjust is worse than behaving justly. Morality. Morality is where we see the match of worldview and ethics. Justice is a manifestation of righteousness, equitableness, or moral rightness. It is at this point when either real pain comes to the unjust or the unjust become the majority power by withstanding the just attempting to deliver justice on the unjust. Virtue. Virtue is often an argument with justice. What is the most important part of justice that must be done first is the theme of this argument. I said 3 weeks ago on December 9th, the answer for the financial investor to gain more profit is found in the homemaker. This relationship will help the homemaker be a part of artificial intelligence and prevent energy prices from rising as quickly as they have over the past 4 years. How can the concept of justice help prevent energy prices from rising as quickly as they have over the past 4 years? Here's my answer to this question. Realize all forms of energy are not equal. A monetary measurement is not the reasonable way to determine what is just in sharing energy. The measurement I see as beneficial is to connect the many pieces of humanity to work together, to have so many forms of energy in so many places that energy is no longer a topic of the justice discussion. Now let's look at our 4 terms by considering the term renege. Any renege event results in the obliteration of trust in the offender. The thoughts of the offended could easily go to pursuing justice to come to their offender. Worldview. The entire premise of renege means a deal occurred and the deal went bad. What was the deal? What went bad? How much assurance was there that the deal was clear to both parties? Ethics. So now what? What are the first steps to handling the renege event? My guess is to become either upset, violent, back off, think about what happened, or some similar protective response as a defense mechanism. Morality. It is reasonable to believe the offended would start grabbing some form of morality to help strengthen their position. That the offender who reneged on the deal was unjust in their actions, and the offended must receive some form of justice. This is where strength in numbers helps, but it is not a guarantee to deliver justice. What is the source of the proposed justice? What is guaranteed is that a conflict is occurring and that things will most likely get worse before they get better. Virtue. Virtue helps determine the next move. Go with the best pitch, as they say in baseball. Play your best card, as they say in games of chance. Doing such things may help, but there is no guarantee any virtue alone will deliver justice. Now, we just stepped through facts versus the truth by considering the terms justice and renege against the terms worldview, ethics, morality, and virtue. Take some time and consider a few specific scenarios in your life to do the same thing we just covered here. The more you can separate facts from the truth, the more richly you will live your life. The first principle I have found is paramount, undeniable, and non-negotiable to living life more richly is understand your data life cycle. Let's take the first principle through justice. There is no way to define justice apart from facts in the present tense. What happened yesterday is nice to know, but what is happening now is what matters when it comes to justice. Yesterday is evidence of what happened. The truth is that not having the data to prove what happened, what should have happened, and what is happening now means there is no hope for receiving justice. Others may have facts that will help you, provided they share those facts with you. It is your life. So you having the facts is where learning the truth occurs. Let's take the first principle through renege. The same is true with renege as it is with justice. There is no way to define renege apart from the facts in the present tense. Breaking one's word is a willful choice. It is not an outcome of an unexpected event. The truth is, there is no means to defend the action of breaking one's word by willful choice. Here's a true story to consider all I have shared with you today. I intend to use this story to connect as many, if not all, of the material we have covered so far. It is a story of Michael Hingson. His last name is spelled Hingson. Hingson. Hingson went to work on September 11th, 2001, as he had for many years. He worked on the 78th floor of the World Trade Center in New York City. A plane crashed into the building 15 stories below him that day. His thoughts after the crash were to call his wife and inform her he is alive, then see to the safety of his coworkers in a building evacuation process. Hingson shared that many people he worked with and people he did not work with on the same floor were scared to the point they could not evacuate. Evacuation meant overcoming the obstacle of the horrific damage on the 63rd floor. Hingson did what needed to be done at the moment. He started walking to the stairwell, asking those around him to follow him into the stairwell. The people, one by one, moved to follow him. Hingson led several, then dozens, then hundreds of people out of the World Trade Center before it collapsed 5 minutes after he, the last of the group of people he led, exited the building. Now the context. He wasn't a leader. He wasn't a manager. He was a worker in the office. Hingson is blind. He lost his eyesight years before the 2001 event. Hingson accomplished crisis communications, succession planning, project management, the project being get out of the building, and the preservation of life in crisis resolution. Hingson did have his guide dog with him. Hingson is what I call a leader, a servant, a hero. I urge you to contextualize your proposed project to live life more richly, given the story of Hingson. You may need to accomplish in the next few minutes something you did not plan to accomplish. Life has a way of bringing things to face something we need to accomplish outside of our planning. The need may not be a crisis, but more than likely, it will be a substantial turn of events. My intent is not to scare you. My intent is to focus you on the importance of not acting from an isolated perspective. Hingson had no perspective of eyesight, but he had the perspective to lead followers, regardless of the nature of the circumstances, by contextualizing the circumstances. This combination is what I call strategic vision. Do not let your project to live your life more richly be outside of your desire, but have it as an integral part of your life. Well, that's it for today. Richly is goodly. Please consider all you've heard from me today. I hope you are excited about how you can apply the material I present to you on the show to your life, so you can live your life more richly than you have ever known. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Richly or Poorly Show. I've enjoyed presenting to you today. Until the next episode, I hope you will be safe, and join me next week. Until then.